The South African Local Government Association, SALGA, has reluctantly welcomed the new 9.6% electricity increase approved by the regulator, Nersa. However, it is concerned that the increase is too far in as far as inflation is concerned. Electricity tariffs have risen by 307% over the past 13 years. SALGA is also concerned that the increase is going to have a significantly negative impact on ordinary South Africans and may affect the economy going forward. Nhlanhla Ngidi is head of electricity and energy at SALGA and joins us now for that particular discussion. So you had made your inputs during the hearings when Eskom was asking for an increase of 20.5% to the tariffs. We are at 9.6% in terms of what has been approved for the multi-year price determination scheme by Nersa, but you still believe this is still going to hurt?
Yes, good afternoon, Sizwe, and good afternoon to your listeners, and thank you for having me. Coming back to your question, yes, we made an input to the public hearings that were hosted by Nersa on the Eskom application for 20% increase. And we had alerted Nersa of a few costs that were within the Eskom application that we deemed as not prudent. And I think it's good to see that Nersa also had looked at the same cost components that we had alerted about the Eskom increases, some of which were primary energy, the coal issues, the cost of IPPs, operational cost of Eskom, mainly HR, and also the carbon tax, which we think was not necessary to be part of the application. So yes, Nersa, we understand, is trying to do some kind of a balancing act right now. But I think our concern mainly is that, in the past 2 years, we've had COVID, we've had people losing jobs, and we've had people who have jobs not getting any inflation-related increases on their salaries. And also we've had unemployment going as high as 30% or over that.
Yeah.
So anything that increases by double the inflation obviously is going to have far-reaching consequences for the citizens of the country. So yes, we are welcoming. Nersa has tried to do its job, and we commend that. And it's not an easy thing to do. Some of these costs of Eskom are really necessary for Eskom, but some of them are not. And we've identified them, advised Nersa, and we presented that in our inputs on the public hearings, and we're happy that those were taken on board. Thank you for the question.
So one of the things that you do in your statement is connect those increases at Eskom to the debt situation, and I believe that your argument that you are making is that this will simply compound the indebtedness situation that municipalities face towards Eskom, but also at the same time that the difficulties that you are having as municipalities in terms of collection, with the estimation that municipalities are owed no less than 300 billion rand by customers.
Yes, definitely. It is going to compound it. It has been compounding it for quite some time now. It's no secret. Every time the prices are soaring, we see a lot of non-technical losses increasing. Non-technical losses obviously is the bypassing of meters, it's the non-payment itself, and it's the vandalism of the infrastructure. And that always comes just a few moments after the prices have started increasing again. The municipal prices will increase in July, beginning of July, to offset the Eskom increase. And 2 or 3 months later, we'll see a dip in the revenue collection in municipalities. So there is a correlation. And that's why we put it in as part of our inputs as well, that it is rather compounding the situation. Municipalities are also owing Eskom We would like for municipalities to be able to pay Eskom, but the money has to come somewhere. And if the money is not coming from the municipal customer itself, then it becomes a problem.
Of course, Nhlanhla, I can just hear Andre de Ruyter and Sikonathi Mantshantsha losing their minds over this conversation and saying, but how on earth are we supposed to give you reliable energy supply, maintain our plant and expand and add new capacity, the capacity that you keep telling us that is needed in this country so that we don't switch you off when we can't get the tariff that we are asking for, which would put us on a firmer footing, at least in as far as the finances are concerned. You're saying you undertook the exercise of identifying those elements that have been identified for this increase that you believe are essential and those that you believe are not essential. I'm just interested in that. How exactly did you do that, and which elements did you argue Eskom did not need to factor into that initial request for 20.5%?
No, thank you for that. I think I'm going to go through them quickly because I know we have limited time. But first, I wanted to say that because it's key. When Nersa takes a decision, the Electricity Regulation Act mandates them to actually provide or allow the utility to recover its cost and give them a reasonable margin. So they must recover their cost and get a reasonable margin. So that's one of the principles of the regulator's decision. So basically, anyone who would complain that we will not be able to do what we're supposed to do because we got 9% instead of 20%, then they're actually insulting the regulator, that the regulator has actually gone against the principles of the Electricity Regulation Act. Now, going back to the what we identified in the Eskom application, there was a high cost around the independent power producers that must come on stream in the Eskom system, and Eskom obviously is a buyer there. But we identified that between the building, the construction of the IPPs, and when does Eskom wants this money that they want now, we saw a disjuncture in the timelines. Yes, they might need the increases due to the coming on stream of the IPPs, but the timeline, which is 2022, 2023, these IPPs will finish being constructed around 2024, and we're already wanting the costs for the IPPs now. So we saw that there's an opportunity to shed some of those costs that Eskom was requiring around IPPs. And also we went to the coal issues as well. One around the primary energy on the coal. Eskom still is asking for quite a lot under the coal, but Eskom has been decommissioning a lot of coal power stations, and that doesn't really make sense. And also we had called for Eskom to actually give us the energy availability factor of the plants that they have right now, to get an analysis of around how is that correlating to the cost that they've put in the application, and that is not upcoming. Carbon tax, Eskom has not paid any carbon tax, so there was around 2 billion in the application, but the IPPs are offsetting what Eskom should be paying on carbon tax. So, but that was in the Eskom
right, because of time. So, my apologies about that. Because of time, I do feel that my last question is quite critical in terms of what you do as SALGA. This determination by Nersa kicks in on the 1st of April for customers that get their electricity directly from Eskom, and that includes municipalities as well, and then those that are supplied by cities such as Johannesburg, City Power, etc. That will kick in July. Just speaking to the financial viability and sustainability of local government, it's a known fact that many municipalities are either not viable or are in financial distress or always teetering on financial distress at any given point. What's your sense then, this 9.65%, 9.64% that Nersa has approved, what's going to be the picture come the 1st of April in terms of municipalities being able to afford that, to pay what they owe Eskom with that new tariff factored in?
You know, that's a very critical question, Tula Sizwe. And let me fill you in on one of the concerns that we have. Between April, when the ESCOM price kicks in, between April and end of June, municipalities will be expected to pay the new tariffs to ESCOM. But they will still be actually charging their customers an old tariff. So that is where the issues are in terms of structural and systemic issues. And hence, if we looked at our media statement, we called for a holistic restructuring of the industry, because how things are happening now, it's not sustainable. So for years, municipalities have been getting into a hole between April and June. Yes, in July, they actually offset that 3 months, but now that means that the municipal customer will have to pay more, because now the municipality is trying to catch up for the past 3 months that they have been charging the old tariff. And with that also comes a winter tariffs from ESCOM, which is between May or April, May, June, July. And ESCOM, actually, those prices of ESCOM, the tariff of ESCOM around the winter, it's actually almost double. And still then the municipality is charging an old tariff. So for years, this system has been eating up municipalities. A lot of holes in the system. The municipalities that are still surviving now, they are holding by the thread to last season. So we really need government to legislate a holistic restructuring of the electricity supply industry in the country, because the structure that we're working with right now, it's got a lot of loopholes in it, and it's causing a lot of unsustainability to the role players.